UPCs and barcodes. This video is going to describe all of the intricacies you need to be aware of, how to label your products to sell on Amazon and other marketplaces, and some typical common questions I get concerning barcodes. My name is Stephen Pope. I am the founder of My Amazon Guy. So if you sell items on Amazon, the best practice is to purchase UPC codes from GS1. GS1 is a United States-based service that creates all UPC barcodes, which are basically supposed to be universal tracking codes that you can scan. So like any typical product, I just have a random product on my desk here, so you can see a little barcode that goes on. Actually, that one didn't even have a barcode. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I got cinnamon on my desk here. So there's a barcode right there. That would be an example of a UPC. And EAN is also similar, but is the European equivalent and is just one digit different than the UPC code. And then a GTIN is the same version of a UPC or EAN, but for the case size. You don't need a GTIN for Amazon, but for Walmart and some other marketplaces, you do, because they request it as part of the setup for them to purchase from you. So those are the general, like, what codes do what. There's one more code called an FNSKU. An FNSKU is a barcode that is kind of similar to a UPC, but it's generated directly by Amazon. On the screen is an example of what an FNSKU looks like. You've got an X00 number and a short barcode like this. If you sell an item that's in grocery or beauty, you likely have to label all of your products with an FNSKU over the top of the UPC. What this allows Amazon to do is, even though all of the products for a particular item are mapped to one specific UPC, they are also bin located based on the FNSKU. So if I'm a seller of the same item that 10 other sellers have, our FNSKUs are all unique to us as a seller. This allows Amazon to differentiate the product in the bins, so that way if there's a random seller who's a bad actor and he's selling counterfeit goods, they can trace it directly back to them. And this is particularly most painful in a safety category like a consumable, like a grocery item, say an olive oil or something like that, as well as a beauty topical, like a cream that goes on you. So that's why they require those bin locations. If you are having any issues with somebody showing up as a hijacker on your listing, you should go check out the transparency program. I do not actively use this program, but I have one or maybe two clients that use it. And the only reason you would need the transparency program is if you have hijackers repeatedly showing up on your own listings. And it's basically one layer deeper than the FNSKU. It will track like very specific numbers on each item, and they can trace it throughout the entire distribution system to track where items are coming from, so that it's transparent to both you as the seller and the consumer, and Amazon as well. Some of the common questions I get are, how do I buy a UPC code? Well, again, you're supposed to go through GS1. So you'd go to the GS1 website and purchase it there, and they give them into you in batches. It is quite cost prohibitive to do this. So what most people have been doing for the last 10 years is they'll go to eBay.com and they'll simply just type in buy UPCs, and they will purchase retired UPC codes off eBay. I personally do this, and I've bought probably over 20,000 UPCs in this method and have never once had an issue, even though I give out a couple hundred UPCs for my clients all the time, intermixing categories, no challenge, no problem, not a single instance. However, my clients that are using GS1 codes, especially as it relates to supplements and medical hand sanitizers, I've had repeated problems with GS1 codes that have been purchased in those categories, where the Chinese have hacked GS1, not making this up, and they've burned your UPC codes. I don't know why this is. I'm only speaking about the symptoms and why I've made my decision to not buy directly through GS1, but this has happened to dozens of my clients. So I don't recommend, you're supposed to buy through GS1. I've only ever had problems when buying through GS1 and not off eBay with some retired codes. Take it for what it's worth. When you go to launch an item on Amazon, you can request a UPC exemption. I do not recommend doing that because it's very difficult to manage the data without a barcode. Having a UPC will allow you better control of your data, and it will also allow you to make some decisions that are beneficial to your brand. For example, if you wanted to have a different UPC for the same item on different marketplaces, there is an advantage to doing that. There's a disadvantage as well. The advantage is if you have a lower price on, say, Walmart than you have on Amazon, Amazon will not penalize you for having that lower price on Walmart if they can't match the data. If you have the same UPC code and you got $5 off on Walmart and it's full price on Amazon, Amazon's going to remove your buy box, believe it or not. Very, very big penalty, and it's difficult. They also will match it against your own website. So we've increasingly seen strategies where we don't have the same UPC codes across marketplaces on purpose, which actually defeats the purpose of a UPC code, which is a universal identifier, so that you can do just that. We also have some clients that are on Wayfair where they have not put their UPCs into Wayfair, but Amazon was able to ascertain and match the data through other means like a photo or a bullet point. We're not sure which one they're doing. Photo would be my guess, but it's possible to match data in various other ways. Another question I get is it possible to change your UPC code on Amazon? The answer to that is no, it's not possible. You can, however, merge two items if you have a duplicate product and you want both UPCs attached to the same ASIN. That is possible. Super messy, very difficult, and you may need to do the ticket through brand registry instead of your regular Seller Central ticket with recent changes in November of 2020. So if you've been using UPC codes that are retired, perhaps purchased off eBay, one of the questions I get is, should I change and upgrade to GS1? The answer is no, I wouldn't. I would keep doing what you've been doing until the day where Amazon's like, hey, you got to change your UPC codes. Don't make any changes. Just leave it as is. Again, I've had more challenges with GS1 data than I have had in any other method or fashion. Another question I get is, how do the GS1 barcodes work? When you go to buy them in a batch, they give you a prefix code which identifies your company. And then, so let's say you bought like a big batch of 100 or whatever. Your prefix might be 4 or 5 digits long, followed by your unique number for each product. Your prefix is then the same on that entire batch, which allows you to identify the products back to the batch itself. Again, really not that important. And if you buy your UPCs off eBay or wherever else, this doesn't impact you. Another common question I get is, can I reuse my UPC? For example, let's say you discontinue a product. This is very common in supplements where they change 1 or 2 ingredients. And the answer is yes. You can absolutely reuse the same UPC. But keep in mind, any data that you've submitted previously can and will resurface at some point in some fashion. So you may have issues trying to manage that data and get it synced up correctly. But generally speaking, it would be better to reuse a discontinued product than to start from scratch if they're kind of close together, right? Now, if you were selling an item like an umbrella and then you want to start selling shovels, I probably would do a brand new UPC in those instances because the reviews would be about umbrellas and you're selling shovels, and that just doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you're selling 2 items of kind of similarity, I would go ahead and reuse the UPC, especially if it's like a new model or an improved ingredients or a performance boost of some kind. Now, the downside of reusing the same UPC is if you got inventory on the old and inventory on the new, you might have to sell out of that old before you make any of your data changes. One of the ways you could do that is duplicating the SKU on the account and either having the new at a higher price on the same ASIN or close the new SKU listing, physically close it until the old inventory has sold out and then activate the new. That's one way you could transition your inventory. Amazon will not segregate your inventory on your behalf in any shape or form. So the only way you can do that is by segregating it with a duplicate SKU on the same ASIN. This is not a black hat tactic. It's okay to duplicate your SKUs. It's not okay to duplicate your ASINs. And then you can move forward with that. Another question I get is, how do I print out a barcode? So if you are using a UPC barcode, you can literally just Google create barcode image, and whatever comes up is generally fine. You put the UPC code in, you can download that image and provide it to your manufacturer so they can print it. Another way though, which is more common, is to go ahead and load the item inside of Seller Central and then just hit print FNSKU barcode out of Amazon directly, and then you give that to the manufacturer, and it will print it in a row of 30 or 42 or whatever else you need for the 30 up labels, and it's very convenient to do that. So that's generally what I do. Hopefully you found that helpful. If you want some coaching on your own specific needs, go check us out at myamazonguy.com. You can book a call with me as the founder of My Amazon Guy to talk through any strategic challenge you might have. We also offer full service management. We're going to grow your sales. Everything from PPC, SEO design, and catalog management. Or if you have a specific problem you need to solve, don't want to hire us for full service, but you got a problem, come check us out at myamazonguy.com. Leave a comment on this video if you have any challenge as well. I do read every single comment and I will respond if I can help you.